Imagine the worst day Earth has ever seen. A rock the size of a small city falls from space. It screams toward Earth at terrifying speed. Then it hits. The explosion is almost impossible to imagine. Fire races across continents. The sky fills with ash. Sulfur spreads through the air. Sunlight begins to disappear. The world gets colder. Forests start dying. Food chains begin breaking. Life on Earth enters disaster. 3 out of every 4 species vanish. The dinosaurs are suddenly gone. These giants ruled Earth for more than 100 million years. Then they disappear in a geological instant. But something is still sitting by the river. A crocodile. Quiet, still, waiting. Somehow, it is still here. Not completely changed. Not barely hanging on. Almost the same as before. Look at a crocodile today. It has a heavy body. It has an armored back. It has long jaws. It has a patient stare. It looks shockingly ancient. It looks like something from the dinosaur world. And in a way, it is. Crocodile relatives saw the dinosaurs disappear. Yet their basic strategy survived. That should feel impossible. Huge animals vanished. Oceans changed. Forests burned. Entire ecosystems collapsed. But crocodiles kept going. They passed through one of life's worst disasters, and they came out with almost the same game plan. So the real question is simple. What did crocodiles have that dinosaurs did not? Stay till the end. The last part will completely change how you think about this. Because by the end, you will see survival differently. It is not always about strength. It is not always about intelligence. It is not always about speed. It is not always about being impressive. Sometimes survival belongs to the creature that needs the least. At first the answer seems obvious. Crocodiles live in water. They spend their lives in rivers. They hide in swamps. They wait in lakes. They rest along muddy shores. So maybe water protected them. Maybe land animals suffered more. Maybe crocodiles were safely tucked away. It sounds reasonable, but the idea breaks quickly. Crocodiles were not the only animals in water. The oceans had giant marine reptiles too. They were called mosasaurs. Some were more than 50 feet long. They were powerful hunters. They lived far from burning forests. They lived in open water. If water was enough, they should have survived. But they vanished too. So water was not the magic answer. Then maybe size was the secret. Small animals need less food. That matters during a famine. When the sky goes dark, plants stop growing. When plants stop growing, food chains collapse. A small body can be an advantage. Many tiny creatures survived. Small mammals could hide. They could scavenge. They could eat seeds. They could eat insects. They could survive on scraps. In a hungry world, small size helped. But crocodiles complicate this idea. Not all crocodiles were small. Some were enormous. Some were more than 30 feet long. These were not tiny animals hiding under leaves. These were giant predators. They could attack smaller dinosaurs. If size decided everything, they should have died too. But crocodiles still made it through. So it was not just water. It was not just size. Then maybe the secret was hiding. Some animals survived by burrowing. They dug into the ground. They escaped the first wave of danger. They avoided heat. They avoided fire. They avoided darkness. Small mammals may have done this. Some crocodile relatives may have done it too. And yes, it probably helped. If the first weeks were chaos, hiding could save your life. But there is a problem. Burrowing only helps at the beginning. It cannot solve the years after. The impact was not the only danger. The aftermath was worse. Sunlight stayed blocked. Plants struggled to recover. Plant eaters began to starve. Predators lost their prey. hunger spread everywhere. So even if a crocodile survived underground, it still had to come out. It still had to find food. It still had to live in a broken world. That is where the answer gets interesting. In 2025, paleontologist Randy studied this mystery. The research focused on one big question. Why did crocodiles survive? Why did so many others fail? Again and again, one answer appeared. Diet. Crocodiles are not picky. They eat fish. They eat birds. They eat mammals. They eat insects. They eat dead animals. They eat other reptiles. If something comes close enough, it can become food. That matters after a mass extinction. Now imagine a picky animal. It depends on one kind of plant or one kind of prey. That can work in a stable world. Specialization can be powerful. It can make an animal very good at one life. But when the world changes overnight, specialization becomes dangerous. If your food disappears, you disappear with it. Crocodiles had a different strategy. They did not need perfect food. They needed something. A fish, a carcass, a small animal, a bird landing too close. When the world became unpredictable, crocodiles had options. But diet was still not the whole answer. Many flexible eaters still went extinct. Eating many things helped, but something deeper was happening. And this is where the story becomes strange. Crocodiles had done this before. Long before the asteroid, Earth faced another disaster. It happened around 201 million years ago. It came between the Triassic and Jurassic periods. Back then, crocodile-like reptiles were everywhere. They were called pseudosuchians. They lived on land. They lived near water. They filled many roles. Later, dinosaurs would take over many of those spaces. Then, disaster hit. That extinction wiped out almost a whole group. Almost. One lineage survived. Researchers studied what happened next. The survivors did not simply crawl along. They did not remain weak leftovers. After the pressure lifted, they spread out. They developed new forms. They tried new lifestyles. They diversified quickly. So crocodile relatives did not survive one disaster by luck. They survived again and again. They passed through two of Earth's worst extinction events. Not because of one lucky trick. Something about their way of life kept working, especially when the world fell apart. But survival was not guaranteed forever. Not every crocodile relative made it to today. Some branches survived the asteroid. Then they disappeared later. One example was the dyrosaurids. They were marine crocodile relatives. They survived the asteroid impact. They spread through coastal waters afterward. Fossils from places like New Jersey show they were successful predators. One species was Hyposaurus rogersi. It grew for nearly 2 decades before full maturity. These animals were not weak. They survived. They hunted.